I'm going to tell you how Carl Jung discovered why dads have such a hard time to quit drinking or smoking weed. And if you stay till the end, I'll tell you how you can use it to actually quit drinking and stop drinking. So, Carl Jung is the father of analytical psychology. If you look his history up or Wikipedia, he's a Swiss psychologist, psychiatrist. But what was interesting about Carl Jung, and still to this day, his thoughts on drinking alcohol or taking any kind of drugs is completely different from the whole school of thought of scientific method. I say that because Carl Jung said one thing that will nail it on the head for why dads, whenever we want to wind down, whenever we want to kind of de-stress, decompress, and want to take that drink or sometimes even smoke that joint. The reason why that happens was discovered by Carl Jung, and I actually agree with his thoughts. So he has this theory where there's the inner man and the outer man. And the outer man is what everyone sees, whatever we experience. The inner man is our thoughts, our feelings, what our true self is. I'm paraphrasing it completely. Look up his history if you want. But what's interesting about that is that he says that whenever there's a drug involved, like alcohol, which alcohol is probably the most prevalent and the most dangerous because it's so accepted, what happens is that the outside and the inside are joined and feel one. And the other thing that happens is the stress, the problems, the thoughts, our minds will forget that they exist. They don't, it doesn't, it doesn't relieve the stress of it or diminish it. Our minds, when alcohol is introduced, when a narcotic is introduced, when a drug is introduced, it actually forgets that it exists for that moment. So when we come back, when the alcohol is out of our system, when the high is gone, the problems, the stress that never really left come back in a wave. And the reason why, at least and this is the part where I relate to it, the reason why I would chase it again and again is because I wanted that sensation, that decompress, that I don't want to feel the problems anymore. So Carl Jung discovered that, and still to this day, psychologists and doctors don't agree with that, but I totally agree with it because that is what alcohol did. And that's why it's so hard, especially for us dads, to stop because I'm a new dad and I feel the stress. I feel the problems way more now than when I was single or when I was just married with my wife. There's so much more at stake. There's so much more that and why not have this tool that actually tricks my mind into thinking that my problems aren't there. But I want to go back to what Carl Jung said, that the mind thinks the problems are gone. It actually believes they're gone. And then when they're not, there's even a compounded stress effect. So that's why it's so difficult to stop drinking. The first thing and one of the first thing that I learned when I stopped drinking alcohol was and I was actually warned by the group of men that I was getting sober with, that I begun the journey of being alcohol free with, that the feelings, the thoughts were going to be completely different because I couldn't numb them anymore. And at first it was going to feel bad, but then it was going to actually be a tool for me because it was going to propel me to take the actions that I needed to in order to remove the stress, really attack the problems, really address the concerns, and learn how to deal with the high highs and the low lows. So one thing this guy Ty Lopez says that I always want to be at a 7. I never want to be at a 10 or at a 2 or a 3 because I'm always in those extremes. I agree with that, where I just want to be at a 7. And the high highs and the low lows get much better when you stop drinking, when you stop getting high. There's so much more at stake, dads. And the one thing that I would encourage you and how you can bring this all together is that you got to feel the feels. So when the stress comes, when the problem comes, it's not about, at least for me, it wasn't about bottling it in, but that's why the importance of reaching out, of having that community of dads, of men that I could go to that would be able to hear me out. That decompress, it didn't feel as good as drinking alcohol, but it was actually resolving the core issue, resolving the problem. I wasn't kicking the can down the road another day, another week, another year. You guys might know what I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm going to quit tomorrow, or I'm going to quit next week, or I'm going to quit next month, or I'm going to quit this year. It goes on and on and on, and then we fall back. The reason why we fall back is because there isn't even a defense for it when our mind literally craves that wholeness that Carl Jung talked about, that ability to completely feel like my problems and stress are gone. Here's the real solution. Feeling the problem, the stress, the strong emotion is actually a tool. It's hard at first, but when I'm doing it in community, when I can reach out and reach out in this channel, reach out on this chat. We have a community at thinklikeadad.com where we specifically go through where we specifically talk every day, reach out to me just to say, hey, I'm not feeling good because I got a mortgage payment overdue, because my kid hasn't started to crawl yet, because my wife and I are arguing. Whatever that buildup is happening, there's two choices. I can either drink it away for the moment, or I can pause the drink and learn how to address it. It's a habit that I need to learn, that I need to break. And it's not easy, but you know what? It actually sometimes feels like you're midway taking a crap and you need to pinch the loaf, or you're midway taking a piss and you need to suddenly stop. It's painful, it's annoying, but sometimes you got to do it. And I think that's kind of like the sensation, that abrupt stop when you have no system, when you have no plan. One of the things and one of the tools, like I say again, is you got to reach out. You got to talk about that, decompress that pressure that's happening. Because if we don't reach out, it's just going to bring us back to the same cycle. So if you like this video, let me know in the comments below, and keep hey, if you like this video, I know you're gonna love this next video. Click on somewhere here. If you like this video, check out the next video. I know you're gonna love it. And if you haven't done so already, we want to keep sharing this message on helping dads. The mainstream media wants to keep us stuck down. Click on the link below to continue to help us grow. Have an awesome day.